All right. Let's see. Zoom in a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Those that are keeping the Sabbath. I'm Lee. Just going to share this in case people want to join in. Bible study. I'm no leader. Most people wouldn't listen to me anyways. So, is what it is. Alright, so I'm going to finish up the book of John. So I've got the RSV pulled up. In fact, yeah, let's leave that for now. Hebrew Gospels, Dead Sea Scrolls, Septuagint, Blue Letter Bible, KJV, New Testament manuscripts they found, and interlinear comes in handy. So let's go here. All right. So John 19. Then Pilate laid hold of Yahusha and flogged him, and the soldiers prepared a crown of thorns and put it on the head of Yahusha, covered him with a red purple garment, and came unto him and said to him, May El save you, King of the Yehudim. Notice they didn't say King of the Jews, so that's a people group that's not Israel. And they gave him blows in the neck. Then Pilate went outside to them. That's not saying that some scattered among them are not Israel, because Israel scattered into all the nations. Then Pilate went outside to them again and said, Behold, I bring this man out to you, so that they may know that I do not find any cause in him. When Yahusha went out, wearing the crown of thorns and the red purple garment, he said to the Yehudim, Behold, the man. So when the Yehudim saw him, the rulers and the attendants shouted, Hang him up, hang him up. But Pilate said to them, You take him and hang him up, for I do not find any cause in him. Then the Yehudim answered him, According to our law, he is guilty of death, because he makes himself the son of Eloah. According to our law. Alright, so Bar-Rabban, meaning son of a teacher. Bar-Even means son of a Bar-Evan means son of a stone. Not the same meaning as the Greek Barabbas, which means son of the father. See, the Hebrew gets lost in the Greek. It gets lost in translation. That's why people are confused on a lot of things. Reason for judgment. Six. I do not find any cause in him or reason for judgment. Yeah, okay. He makes himself the son of Eloah. So when Pilate heard this word, he had great fear, and he went in again and said to Yahusha, Where are you from? But Yahusha did not answer him. So Pilate said to him, Do you not reply to me? Do you not know that it is in my hand to release you or to hang you up? So Yahusha answered, You will not have any power against me except it be given to you from the heavens, that is from El. Therefore he who delivered me into his hand sins an extremely great sin. So Pilate had authority from heaven, and the person who delivered him, Judas, had the greater sin. So after Pilate wanted to release him, but the Yehudim shouted and said, "If you release this man, you will not be a beloved of Caesar. For every man who makes himself king speaks against Caesar." So when Pilate heard these words, he brought Yahusha out and sat on a seat at the place which is called Gabbatha. So that's the judgment seat, the Aramaic word for pavement. A number of Aramaic nouns were used in post-exilic Hebrew. So that's after the Babylonian exile, the language got corrupted. Now it was the 6th day, it was Pesach, close to the 6th hour. This phrase is clearly a parenthetical insertion, and some versions of John do not include it at all. If this phrase was written in the original version of John, it would contradict Mark 15:25, which states that Yahushua was crucified at the 3rd hour, i.e. 9 a.m. So the Hebrew Gospels people know when the day begins. 3rd hour, 9 a.m., not 3rd hour, midnight. If this comment was inserted by a later editor who used the Roman timing system, the 6th hour means 6 a.m. And that is probably the intended meaning. Also, it was not the 6th day of the week, but rather the 6th day in John's detailed description of Yahusha's activities during the last 6 days before Passover, beginning at chapter 12. This parenthetical section might not have been part of the original Gospel of John. So, right, so they got it marked out there. Verse 14, Gabbatha. Over here. Nope, missing in the early. So verse 3 has, "And facing him they kept saying, 'Hail, King of the Jews,' and they kept slapping him." So that dropped out of the text, probably due to an understanding issue. "May El save you, King of the Yehudim." And he said to them, "Behold a man," saying, "Crucify him." They didn't repeat it, just said crucify him. Probably added for fluff. So, yep, nothing there. John 19, RSV. Verse 14. Now it was the day of the preparation of the Passover, about 6th hour. Okay. Yep, so we'll just go with what they said. "Then Pilate said to the Yehudim, 'Behold your king.' But they shouted, 'Lift him up, hang him up, put him on a warping wolf.' So Pilate asked them, 'Must I hang up your king?' But the ruler said to him, 'We have no king except Caesar.' So Caesar's authority delivered Yahusha to them that they could hang him up. Then the Yehudim took Yahusha and led him out. And Yahusha, carrying the warping wolf, went to the place which is called Calvary, which is Golgotha in Hebrew. Lengthwise and crosswise for the warping wolf, used in medieval Hebrew to refer to a cross, Aramaic name for Golgotha. Make sure I turn the mic back on. So here, and in that place they put Yahusha on warping wolf, and with him 2 others, one to the right, one to the left, and Yahusha between the 2 of them. Now Pilate wrote a saying and put it on warping wolf, and this was its language: Yahusha of Nazareth, the Netzarim, Acts 24. Paul was a part of that sect. Epiphanius referenced them. The king of the Yehudim. So there was a, what is that? So many of the Yehudim read this writing, for that place where Yahusha was hanged is near the city, and it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. So the rulers of the Yehudim said to Pilate, "Do not write the king of the Yehudim, but that he was saying that he is king of the Yehudim." Pilate answered, saying, "That which is written will be written." Then the soldiers, when they had hanged him up, took the garments and divided them into 4 parts, for every soldier his part. But the garment which is called gola, it was without any seam, and worn over that which was upon him. Therefore they said among themselves, "Let us not tear it, but let us cast lots over it, whose it will be," in order that the scripture could be fulfilled, which says, "They divided my clothes among themselves, and cast lots because of my garment." Therefore the soldiers did these things. Was it Psalms? Let's do KJV. Yep. Psalm 22:18. I can count all my bones. They look and stare at me. They divide my garments among them. They cast lots for my clothing. But don't be far off, Yahuwah. You are my help. Hurry to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dog. Now the mother of Yehusha, Miriam, the wife of Chalphai, the sister of the mother of Yehusha, and Miriam Magdalene, stood near the warp and woof of Yehusha. So when Yehusha saw his mother standing nearby, and the Talmud, whom he loved exceedingly, he turned to his mother and said, "Woman, behold your son." Afterwards he said to the Talmud, "Behold your mother." At that time the Talmud took her as his own mother. And after this Yehusha, so that everything and in order that the scripture should be fulfilled, said, "I have thirst." As there was a jar filled with vinegar there, they, when they heard this, took a reed and placed it on a sponge full of vinegar with salt, and placed it at the mouth of Yehusha. So when Yehusha had tasted the vinegar, he said, "It is completed and ended." And he bowed his head and sent his ruach to his father. That says he sent his ruach to his father. Now the evening would be Shabbat, Passover evening. And thus the Yehudim, in order that the body should not remain on warp and woof on the Shabbat, for that Shabbat will be a great feast, the Passover, entreated Pilate that he should give them permission that they should cut off the thighs of those who were hanged up, and that they could take them down. So the soldiers came and cut off the thighs of those who were hanged up with Yehusha. But one of the soldiers took a lance in his hand and thrust Yehusha and opened his side for him. And those who saw it do witness of this, also he who knows that he speaks the truth, in order that you may believe in him. For when all these things were done, the scripture was fulfilled, which says, "You must not break a bone in it." And again another scripture says, "And they will look unto me whom they have pierced." After these things, Joseph of Ramathaim, who stayed hidden for fear of the Yehudim, because he was the Talmud of Yehusha, requested of Pilate that he could have permission to take Yehusha from the warp and woof, and Pilate consented to him from the stake or tree. Then Joseph came with Necdeman to Yehusha in the night, bringing a blend of myrrh, about 100 pounds. So they took the body of Yehusha and bound it up in linen sheets, and anointed the body with good and valuable ointments, as the custom of the Yehudim is to balm. And at the place where he had been hanged up, there was a garden, and there was a new grave in that garden, and no man had. Verse 33 does not exist in this manuscript. So yeah, that's 19. Since it was the day of preparation, in order to prevent the bodies from remaining on the cross on the Sabbath, the Jews asked Pilate for their legs, that their legs might be broken, that they might be taken away. Yeah, that's kind of odd. Maybe it wasn't there. So because of the preparation of Yehudim, and because he was near that grave, they had placed Yahusha there. So the Jews answered, "We have a law, and by our law you are to die," because he made himself the Son of God. Literally making him God, or a God, however you want to look at it. Place of the skull, which in Hebrew is called Golgotha. Chapter 20, the first day of the week, in the morning, Miriam Magdalene came to the grave, but it was still night, and she saw the stone of the grave overturned. Therefore she ran and came to Shimon Kepha, and to that other Talmud, whom Yahusha loved exceedingly. And Miriam said to them, and I believe this references John here. It's interesting because Moses wrote, Moses is the meekest man on earth, and then John wrote the Talmud, whom Yahusha loved, John. So, how dare they? And Miriam said to them, "They have taken my Adon away from the grave, and I do not know where they put him." So Kepha departed, and that Talmud who was loved, and they came to the grave. Now they both went in a run, but the Talmud who was loved went faster and came to the grave first. And he bowed his face. So the Talmud who was loved went faster. He beat him to the grave. That's John puffing himself up again. And he bowed his face and saw the linen sheet placed at the one side. However, he did not enter there. So the linen sheet. Then Shimon Kepha, who went after him, came and went into the grave, and he saw the linen clothes or cloths placed at the other side, but the linen sheet which was placed on the head of Yahusha was not placed with linen sheets, but was at the one side folded. Then that Talmudim who was loved, who came to the grave first, went in there, and he saw it and ran away. For they did not yet understand the scripture which says that he must return to life after death. Then the Talmudim went again into that same place, but Miriam stood outside the grave weeping. So while she was weeping, she bent down and looked into the grave, and she saw two messengers sitting, clothed in white. So it says messengers here. That's what Hebrew would say, not angelos or angels. That's Greek. Clothed with white, one at the head, one at the feet, at the place where the body of Yahusha Mashiach had been placed. And they said to that woman, "Why are you weeping?" So she said, "Because they have taken away my Adon from here." That's master. "And I do not know where they have placed him." And when Miriam Magdalene had spoken these words, she turned about, saw Yahusha standing on his feet. She did not realize that it was Yahusha, but she said in herself that he was the thief that stole the body. The first day of the week in the morning, that's Sunday morning, they came to the grave. But it was still night. It was still dark out, but it's morning. So she said to him, "Adon, if you took him away, tell me where you have placed him, that I may carry him away unto me." Then Yahusha said to her, "Miriam." So she turned about and said to him, "Rabbi," teacher. So 2 is Ansar's gloss, which means master. Then Yahusha said to her, "Do not touch me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my Talmudim, and say to them that I will ascend unto my Father and unto your Father, my Eloah and your Eloah." So Miriam Magdalene went and made it known to the Talmudim, saying, "I indeed saw him." You don't translate both eyes in Hebrew. "And he spoke these things to me." Then on the first day of the week, when it was evening, and the doors of the house were locked where the Talmudim were, on the first day of the week, in the evening, right? So the first day, if it was, yeah, anyways, Yahusha came and said to them, "Shalom Lechem." And when he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. So when the Talmudim saw Ha'adon, the master, they rejoiced. Then he said to them again, Shalom Amechem. When he had said this, he sighed heavily and said to them, Receive Ruach HaKodesh, set apart spirit. And to whomsoever you will let go the iniquities, they will be let go for them. But to whomsoever you will retain the iniquities, they will be retained for them. So greeting number 1, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom to you. And Shalom Amechem, Shalom be with you. The Hebrew 24-hour day starts after dusk. Okay, so they don't understand that. No, that's referencing the feasts. Leviticus 23. It tells you when to start a specific feast. If all of them started in the evening, he wouldn't have to tell you a specific feast to keep in the evening. Makes no sense. So you can't just pull one scripture out of context or hear where he created during the day and then evening, the morning, then day one. So yep, they're following the Jewish traditions. Retain the iniquities. But Talma, one of the Talmudim, who is called Mispach, was not with them when Yahushua came to them. Therefore the other Talmudim said to him, We indeed have seen Ha'adon. But Talma said to them, If I do not see the thrust of the nails in his hands, and I do not put my finger at the place of the nails, and I do not place my hand at his side, I will not believe. 3. Hebrew name for Didymus, it means doubting or doubtful. After 8 days, the Talmudim were in the house again, and Talmud was with them, and Yahushua came while the doors were locked. He came into the midst of his Talmudim and said to them, Shalom Yehiyeh Emechem. That is, may Shalom be with you. Afterwards he said to Talmud, Put your finger here and look at my hands, and put your hand at my side. Do not be without faith, but be faithful. Talmud answered and said, My Adon and my Eloah. So he said, My Master, or Lord, and my God. Where's it at? So here, according to our law, he's guilty of death because he makes himself the son of Eloah. So that's calling Father Eloah. It's God, right? You know, quote word with people. People gonna do what they want to do and understand what they want to understand or whatever. So Toma answered and said, My Adon and my Eloah. What's Thomas saying? He knows he's God also. He's the Son of God. He came from God. You don't birth a child that comes from you and they're not like you, right? We were made in God's image. We didn't come directly from God. So, but yeah, whatever. People are going to do what they want to do. So Yahushua said unto him, Do you believe in me, Thomas, because you saw me? Blessed are those who believe in me. Blessed are those who believe in me. Yahushua Mashiach did many miracles, and belief is also obedience. It's not just belief in like the Greek mindset. In Hebrew, if you believe, you do something, you obey. You don't just, I believe, I believe in Santa Claus. Yahushua Mashiach did many miracles in the sight of his Talmudim, which are not written in this scroll, but these were written in order that you may believe that Yahushua Mashiach is the son of El, and in order that you may believe them, and you may have life in eternity with Yahushua Mashiach. So 20. Fun time to be alive. Definitely. 21. Afterwards, Yahushua revealed himself to the people of Tiberias, and thus he revealed himself to Shimon Kepha. So why the people of Tiberias? Or possibly at the Sea of Tiberias. Why did he go there? That's all in the book of John. John 6. Howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat bread, and after that Yahuwah had given thanks. Oh, okay. I guess he went back to visit the people that he had seen earlier. Yeah. That's cool. Thus he revealed himself to Shimon Kephas, Peter, and Thomas called Mishpach, and to Nathanael, who was from Beth Galilah, house of Galilah, and to the sons of Zabdi, and to the two other Talmudim who were together. Now Shimon Kepha said unto them, I'm going to hunt fish. I'm going to hunt fish. Tell a English speaker that I'm going to hunt fish, they'll be like, what? What are you talking about? But perfectly normal in Hebrew culture. I'm going to hunt fish. You know what he's doing. He's going fishing. Then they said to him, as for us, we will go with you. So they departed from there and went up into the boat, but in that night they did not get anything. Then in the morning Yahushua stood on the shore of the sea. However, the Talmudim did not recognize him. Then Yahushua said to them, children, do you have something to eat? So they answered, no. Then he said to them, cast the nets further on, and you will find. When they cast the nets in the water, a great multitude of fish entered into them, so they were not able to pull them out. Then that Talmud who was loved by Yahushua said to Kepha, it is Ha-Adon, the master. Then Shimon Kepha, when he heard that it was Ha-Adon, the master, clothed himself with his clothes, for he was unclothed, and went into the sea. But the remainder of the Talmudim came with boats, for they were not far from the land, only about 200 cubits. So when they went down to the land, they saw a prepared fire with burning coals ready, and fish set upon it, and bread. Then Yahushua said to them, bring some of the fish which you caught just now. So Shimon Kepha went up into the boat, and brought the nets to the land, filled with an abundance of fish, 153 by number. And with all this, that the fish were so many, the net did not break. Then Yahushua said to them, come and eat. But now none of them wanted to ask who he was, for they knew that he was their Adon. So Yahushua came and took the bread and the fish and gave to them. And by then it was 3 times that Yahushua had revealed himself to his Talmudim after he returned to life. So 3 times. There's that number 3 again. That's one of God's perfect numbers. Then as he ate, Yahushua said to Shimon Kepha, Shimon of Yonah, do you love me more than these? Then he answered, Adon, yes, you know that I love you. So Yahushua said to them, keep my lambs. Then Yahushua asked him again, Shimon Kepha, son of Yonah, do you love me? So Shimon said, yes, Adon, you know that I love you. Then Yahushua said unto him, shepherd and feed my lambs. He asked him a 3rd time, Shimon of Yonah, do you love me? Now Kepha was anxious because he had asked him 3 times if he loved him. He said to him, Adon, so that's 3 times again, knowing all things, you know that I love you. So he just said that Yahushua knows all things. That's omnipotent. That's an attribute of God. Unlimited in ability, all-powerful, almighty, omniscient. That's what it is. Omniscient. Having total knowledge, knowing everything. Knowing all things, infinitely knowing or wise. Having total knowledge. That's an attribute of God. Omniscient, omnipotent. He said to him, Master, knowing all things, you know that I love you. He knows. Yahushua knows all things. That's an attribute of God. So Yahushua said to him, Feed my flock. Truth I say to you, when I was a young man, you were staying and going to the place of your pleasure. But when you become an elder, you will stretch out your hand, and another will go after you and drive you into a place that you do not find pleasure in. And Yahushua said this, alluding with what death he would glorify El. So what death Peter would die, he already knew beforehand. And when he had said this, he said to Kepha, Come after me. Then Kepha turned himself back and saw the Talmud, whom Yahushua loved exceedingly, going after him, he who reclined on his chest at the meal. So that's John again. So when Kepha saw this, he asked Yahushua, What will become of this man? So Yahushua said unto him, I want that he abides here until I come. I will come. What is that to you? You come after me. Therefore this word went out among his brothers, that this Talmud would not die. But he only said, I want that he abides here until I will come. What is that it to you? So he said one thing and they perceived another. That happens all the time. It's ridiculous. What he's saying is he's going to abide here. John wrote the book of Revelation, so John's not going to die until he returns back for the book of Revelation. That's what I see in it anyways. And they took it another way. So they said he wouldn't die, which is, it's not accurate. This is the Talmud who does witness of these things. So John wrote this and wrote these things, and you know that his witness is true. And many more things Yahushua did, that if all of them should be written, I think all the world would not be able to contain the scrolls which would be needed in their writing. Scrolls, not books. They use books, they use scrolls. Complete and sealed, blessed is he who set me free. That's Yahushua. 32 minutes, we're done. Cool. All right, well, I guess I'll cut that short, and yeah. Hope everybody's having a blessed Sabbath and keeping it appropriately. Refraining from work and refraining from buying, selling, refraining from doing your own pleasure, Isaiah 58, speaking your own words, Isaiah 58, going on a long journey, Jubilees 50, Acts chapter 1. Yeah, so yeah, if we're going to do it appropriately, we need to do it appropriately or not do it at all. I mean, it's, you know, there's not anyways.